Not too long ago is when I really started a strong search for having Jesus in my life. And one of the questions I always asked myself was, why have I waited till now? And it's really because throughout my life, I didn't think I needed him. I didn't think I needed Jesus. At the risk of sounding arrogant, I had a good upbringing. I had great parents. I felt that my morals were, right. My ethics were right. I did good in school. I have plenty of education. I have a good career. Why do I need Jesus? And then it was approximately 11, 12 years ago that really started things. I met my wife. We started as co-workers, became friends, and naturally it just developed into a loving, intimate relationship, and we got married. Prior to that, I had healthy relationships, but it wasn't until later in life and meeting her that I really felt there was purpose in the relationship. And there was no logical reason for me to think that. I just felt it. I just knew that we were going to be together. And we did get married. As Becky and I continued to build our relationship, obviously I was very intertwined with her family, and they were very committed to religion in their lives. So it was around me. And probably the most significant moment when I said, I actually have to be vigilant and make an effort, is when I saw my wife continually refer to Jesus or to speak to Jesus when she was uncomfortable, upset, yes, sometimes with me, but I would see her go away and talk to Jesus. And there was a calm that came over her. And I thought, I want that. How does that happen? So I made a cognitive decision, and I started attending church with her here at St. Luke. And I went to the session they put on here for new people called Life with God. And that's when I first really interacted with Pastor Steve. And we talked for about 2 hours after that. And that took us past the 10 o'clock hour at night. So I really appreciated that. Since then, I've put myself in a life group with my wife. Like I said, I attended church regularly. And I just made a cognitive decision to immerse myself with the people around me and being open to what they had to say. I reached out to my brother-in-law. As I said before, he was a pastor, and I had great discussions with him. I met with Pastor Steve a couple of times, and there was a moment that he just lit up when I was letting him know, I'm not there yet, And he's like, Matthew, God is all around you. I just see him. This is gonna happen. It was a very interesting feeling. So as I move on through the months, I continue with life group, started with Bible study and just immersing myself in that. While participating in Bible study, I remember one of the other participants had responded to me after me sharing that I had a good life and I didn't need Jesus in the past. And his response was, yeah, it works until it doesn't work. And I have not forgotten that. One very key moment in my life through this journey was me spending some time with my father. My father is getting up there in years and health where he's not going to be with me much longer. And I was scared. I knew this was going to happen, but I don't know what I would do without my father. And this time that I spent with him, he took some time to himself and he prayed. I never knew my father to have any connection with any religion or Christianity or anything. And when I saw him pray, I felt this level of comfort. And ever since then, I don't fear his death. I don't want it to come, but I know it's going to be okay. And that was just a great feeling. So I continue to reflect on that. Another very significant memory that I had, I caught up with Pastor Steve after worship one morning, just to kind of bring him up to speed on my journey. You know, I'm still searching. And we had a good discussion. And at the end of the discussion, he asked me the question, and he says, "Are you ready?" And I knew what he meant by that. Am I ready to take that step? And that scared me. I was not ready, and I was just scared from head to toe. But I learned that that was the moment that I recognized some of the resistance I had. I thought I was a good person. So why do I need someone that has a standard that I need to live up to like that? The moment I realized Jesus does exist, I was just driving Monday to a hardware store and listening to some Christian rock music, and there was a lyric that talked about, and I'm paraphrasing it, that Jesus planted a seed and allowed me to bloom. And I was thinking back when I was building a relationship with Becky, that's when I may have been planted. And like I said, the purpose, the drive, the commitment, all that stuff. I remember after marrying Becky, we had a lot of friends in common, and they recognized a change in me. And then before I knew it, this overwhelming feeling came to me, and these thoughts about how fortunate I've been throughout my life, how lucky I've been with some of the decisions I made have ended up being positive but could have gone real negative. And there were these situations that made no logical sense. And that's when I said, "Of course you're there, Jesus. You've always been there." And I cannot tell you how exciting that was for me. That day, I shared it with my wife, and we shared tears. And the next morning, I texted just a few words to Pastor Steve, quote, "I found him," end quote. 20 minutes later, I get a phone call from him. It was a great time in my life. Since that event, it's almost like falling in love. Things smell better, things taste better. There is a blanket that covers me, and it feels so nice. I can feel Jesus in our marriage. Prior to this, I had a great marriage. I couldn't tell you how it would be better, but it is. We have grown closer than I thought possible. And having Jesus there with us, and her being with me in my journey, and the things we can share, awesome. There are still challenges. I still struggle with some of my personal views on things that contradict the teachings of the Bible and the church. I struggle with that. These are things that I continuously have to work on, trying to place scripture to give me an answer. Another thing I struggle with is prayer. I hear there's power in prayer. I still think it's awkward to sit there and talk to someone that's not there. But I see it. I see how it makes people feel. So that's another area that I'm still working on. But all in all, a lot of my worries and fears of the unknown in my future are no longer there. Having the trust in Jesus, having experienced throughout my life what I've experienced, it's going to be okay. One of my continuing goals is wanting to serve. I'm not sure that I've heard how Jesus wants me to, but I'm excited for that moment, and I'm going to be ready. And the amount of support that I receive from everyone through this continued journey has just been wonderful. Pastor Steve talks about the church being a family. Yeah, it's great. Thank you.